So I thought today we would do a farm tour. Show you what's going on, what's not going on, and where we're at. Welcome to my little tropical farm. So we're going to start up at the front of the house as I walk up there. And there's not much going on up here, honestly. But let me show you what's not going on. Okay, so these are the two circles where I planted taro. And whoa, I fell in a hole there that I think belonged to an armadillo. Hi, Pumpkin. And Blanca's here. She's obviously was swimming earlier because she's all wet. But, okay. So I planted taro, and it did not grow. But everything that was in here before is coming back. So I think the dogs dug up the taro and ate it. Because taro seeds are really just part of the tuber. So that was a bust this year, but we're going to try that again next year maybe with some fencing. This is my early orange tree. I think it's called an August orange because it produces in August. So these should be ready soon. The tree is full of oranges. And this is my garden, which I have ignored. But let me tell you what's going on here. I have some ginger. I have some culantro. These are guandu or pigeon pea. This is turmeric, oregano, Cuban oregano. These are pepper plants. I have taken most of them out, given them some space, but I still probably have more than I should, and should take out the ones that really aren't doing anything so that the ones that are can do well. This is a huge patch of Cuban oregano. There's a little more turmeric over there. And then this is a whole area of stuff that was just decimated by the crickets. Most of it were lilies, so that's okay. But this is a golden spoon tree or a Nance tree. I think this one's an avocado. This is a cacao I should plant. And this is a flowering tree. So that's what I have over here. It's not much. I don't know if you remember, but this is where I had originally planted all of the pumpkin that came up, and the crickets immediately ate it. And then the dogs dug in there. This is going to be my covered garden, but we're still waiting to take out this tree. Just an FYI, this is a caoba tree, which I knew that, and I knew it was really good wood. But what I didn't realize is a caoba tree is mahogany. So I actually sold this tree, and I'm just waiting for them to come take it. I have some more mahogany trees down this way, two here, and I think one over there. But they're not as big, and they're also not about to fall on my house. So as soon as that comes out, I think we will still try and finish the garden and do some planting this year. I will have to irrigate if I have anything that's going to go that much longer. But, and if you remember, we took out this coconut tree, but I have 6 more growing over here. They're doing okay. They're not growing fast. This is a mulberry tree that I basically copiced. I cut down completely. It had moss growing all over it, and it wasn't doing well. And it looks like that was a good move because what's coming in is coming in really full. Don't think we'll get mulberries this year, but the birds tend to eat it before I get it anyway. This is an avocado tree that I planted last year, kind of halfway through the rainy season, but it's doing okay. Let's see what else I have over here. I do have some things over here. I have some taro growing, but not a lot of it. So this is taro. This is taro. This is taro. These are not. This is a different plant. Looks similar. This is my biggest taro. So I have a few. There's a few more over here. Most of it didn't come up, but I have a few. So I'm actually hoping that we can take one of them and save it for next year and cut it up and make it into more. Now all these trees here are cassava or yucca, and they were planted early last year, and I thought they'd be ready, but I believe, and if somebody knows this, they can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that yucca, you can tell it's ready when you can see some of the roots, and I don't see that. So some yucca takes 1 year, some takes 2 years, but I thought this would be ready by now. Now, when to plant yucca, you basically take sticks about this thickness and you plant them in the ground. So as soon as we dig some up, we will plant more and replace them. This one, I think, is a banana tree, but I could be wrong, because these other ones here are actually, I believe, plantains. So, yeah, this is a plantain, I think. And then these are some soursops that I haven't seen much fruit this year. So, which is fine. I'll fertilize with the sheep manure again and see if that helps. So this is all in the backyard, just to give some perspective, the backyard of the house. These are my 5 pineapples that survived. I had a few more, but they didn't make it. And then I have these 2 guava trees. This one is not doing well, maybe because there's too much grass growing under it. This one is doing well, but hopefully they'll both make it. What else? Oh, and I have my miame or yams. These are growing like crazy. Now, one thing we did this year, which I wasn't sure was going to work, because I didn't realize this tree had dropped onto a banana tree, but that's okay, or a plantain tree. One thing I did on some of these, which seem to be the ones that are doing really well, but I'm not positive, is that when we dug up last year's, I took a mixture of chicken manure mixed with rice hulls, and I put that in the ground with you. When you dig up the root, you take the top and you put it back in the ground, and that's like your seed for next year. So with that, I put it in rice hulls and chicken manure in with the dirt. I was hoping that, one, it would give it some manure, some fertilizer, but also the rice hulls would make the ground softer and looser so that we would get more growth. And I think we're going to have some crazy amount. I think I'm going to have enough for the year. And if I dig them up, they should last. I'll start digging some up at the end of the rainy season, and I'll finish digging them up probably about 2 months later, and they should last me until really most of the year if I keep them in a dry spot in the house. This is another mulberry tree. I'm thinking about doing the same with it and just cutting it back completely. I'm not getting much fruit from it anyway, and if I cut it down and start over, I think it'll have a good shot. And so that's everything that's in the yard or in the garden near the house. And these are the babies. I don't know if you could see them. But 4 of the babies are sitting in here without their mamas. 2 of them are my bottle babies, I believe. Which I'd like to get them out eating more grass. One does eat a lot of grass, the other one doesn't. All the rest are over by the dogs for some reason over there. But they're fine. And this these are the orange trees. These oranges should be ready in January, but all these oranges are, oh, I forgot, I do have a new mandarin tree. All these oranges are tart oranges, and you can see some of the trees are really full with oranges coming in, and some of them are not, but I'm gonna have plenty of oranges. And hopefully, you can see right here, there's so many oranges. I don't know if you could see that. But hopefully, I'm working on getting my health certificate and then my food certificate so I could sell jams and jellies and whatnot. It's taking me a while because I had no vaccination records, so I had to get vaccinated for everything all over again. I have one more vaccine to get, and then I should be done. Here are all the sheep going by. They're all probably going in. You can see some of the babies are following. I only saw 4 babies in there, but there must have been 5 because there are only 3 here. Oh, and this is my little bottle baby that doesn't eat much grass, so I'm glad to see he's out. Okay, we'll take another walk back. So this is a whole farm tour, so I'll show you all the animals as well. Back here is the area I was calling the orchard. And although there's probably more growing over there than there is over here, but this area is doing well for the most part. I had a mango tree that died. I had a lemon or orange tree, I don't remember, that seems to have gotten eaten. But I have one more, and it's just not doing well. The bugs are really getting to it. But it is over here. And hopefully it'll come back. But yeah, it's not doing well at all. And then I have, I think, 5 cacao trees in the shade here. And most of them are doing well. So I had planted 2, and then my friends Janice and Lucho gave me a few more, quite a few more. And most of them are here. So here is one doing pretty well, getting a little eaten, but doing well. Then this one, for some reason, is not doing well. It just got eaten alive. So got to do something about that, I guess. This one got eaten pretty badly, but it's okay. And then over here on this side are the 2 I had from last year. So these were planted last year. They were not irrigated, and they won't probably be irrigated this year. And I thought they had died, but they came back pretty well. This one looks great. And this one was looking really good, but it got eaten. So hopefully it'll survive. So for that kind of thing, I'm not using any pesticides. I'm not using any chemicals. So hopefully it'll do okay. I do definitely have a ton of ants. These guys are huge. These are the leafcutter ants, and they may be eating the plants a little bit. So in here are a ton of citrus, but this citrus tended to give me really late fruit last year, and not nearly as much as the ones out in the pasture. Possibly because I actually want to say I put manure on all of them, but I definitely did on those. Now, in this area is my grass. So this, my friend Claire gave me grass, and this is the Cuba 22 grass. It's a cane grass, and so this is our first year growing it, and so it doesn't look like much, but it's growing, and that's great. And we will cut this down in the dry season for the sheep. But it's doing okay, and hopefully it'll get thicker and thicker. I am going to take you around the other way now to see the corn. So now we're in the area behind the grass that I just planted and the orchard, and this is my corn. So the corn is doing great. I did spray chemicals once. Early on I had worms, and last year the worms did a lot of damage, so I decided to spray. So so I haven't sprayed since with anything else, but this is my large cornfield. So far I've gotten, oh gosh, yesterday I think I got 12 or 13 pounds of whole ears of corn. So far I've probably gotten about 25. Here's more that are ready. I might leave those till tomorrow. But it's a big area, as you can see. Last year we got 140 pounds and we left a lot on. This year we planted 25% more, but as you can see over here in the shade, they're not doing well. So that's fine. Next year we'll go back to planting 3 pounds instead of 4 pounds. Because one, I don't need this much. Although I'm going to freeze some. What I did yesterday was I took it off the, I took the kernels off the cob, blanched them, and put them in the freezer. I don't have a great setup for that because I don't have a lot of ice. So I'm going to probably do the same tomorrow. I'll buy a bag of ice early in the morning and set up a sink where I can put the corn in an ice bath after it's blanched and then freeze it. But this is my cornfield and it's large. And in among the corn there are some citrus trees. This is a mango tree. It produced some mangoes, but they weren't good. So I need to look at that and see what I can do about that. The rest are citrus. There is some lemon in here, which is great. I'd rather have more lemon than orange, to be honest with you. But I only have 1 or 2 lemon trees. I think I have a lime tree on the other side that hasn't produced, but I could be wrong about that. So, I'm not sure in this you get the full feeling of how big this area is, but it's huge. And I've probably picked 5% of the corn so far. And I'm sure some of it I won't get. Supposedly this time of year there aren't a lot of parrots, but I hear a ton of parrots in the morning and the evening. The only thing is they're really not going after the corn because the teak trees are flowering. And I think there's little fruits up there that the parrots like. So I've seen them fly out of the teak trees, but have not seen them in the corn. So we probably have another week or 2 of harvesting corn, maybe longer, but there's a ton of corn. Okay, that's all here. Now I'll show you most of the animals. So now to give you some bearing, corn, grass, orchard behind, and here's the chicken area. So we'll walk into the chicken area and see the animals. These are the small plantain trees that the sheep ate. And then I've got 2 right here that don't look as good as they should, but they should be fine. I should get plantains from these 2. And then here are 2 more pups that were replanted. Ulysses actually dug them up and replanted them, and then the sheep just ate them. So, speaking of the devils, here are my sheep. So I've redone the fences quite a few times, and they're still not good enough. So because the posts are a little too far apart, even though there are like 9 strands, the sheep are still getting through in some spots. Not the big mamas so much as Katie can get through and the dogs can get through. So we are going to redo the fencing with the same similar fence to what I used in the shelter, which has the little squares. And there's two reasons for that. One is to keep the sheep in. Two is because it will work well for pigs. I've said that a couple of times. I want to put pigs right here. And so that's on my list of redoing the fencing here. This doesn't really have fence right now. And potentially putting pigs in here and possibly here. So I'm going to put a fence right up where this big water trough is, and use the water trough to split the area as well. But what I may end up doing is moving the pigs just back and forth if I have pigs. It's not at the top of my list. It's just on the list of possibilities. It's not even the list of things I really want. I want a milk cow first, but pigs would be much easier than a milk cow. And I'm a little overwhelmed these days, so we'll see. So the ducks were in here until yesterday. I need to clean this, but I'll show you they're back outside. These are my little chicks. I think they're about 2 months old, maybe closer to 3 months. There are 9 of them. Half of them are boys. And we'll probably do the same thing we did before in another 2 months. My puppy just popped up. In another 2 months, we will slaughter all but one boy. And then, unfortunately, get rid of this rooster who I really like in there. Because he won't be kind to them, and we'll raise one of those. Here are my 2 puppies. Now, this is the second reason I'm redoing the fencing all over again. They have this kennel, if you can call it that. It's really a cage, a kennel. And it's good size. And they are better with their blanket than they were, so they might be getting a bed soon. I think we're going to do one more blanket before we attempt a bed because they are still ripping it up. But they're going to be spayed next week. But I can't let them run loose because they chase the chickens and the sheep. So that being said, what I think I'll do is put them, the first pasture I'm going to do is right behind here. It's got all the fruit trees. I really don't want the sheep eating the trees. They haven't lately, although they did eat the mango tree and maybe the other orange tree. But what I think I'm going to do is put the dogs in there during the day if I can make it so they won't leave. They do right now crawl right under the fence. So my big issue is going to be the door. But if I can get them in there without much of a problem, that they could escape, then they'll have a pasture to hang out in during the day. And I'll feed them in this kennel in the morning before they go out, and at night I'll bring them back in to eat here and stay in here during the night. And I think that's a really decent plan for them. I would still love to find them a home of their very own with some good owners because they're just such good dogs. And they're really starting to calm down, and they're great. And they're so loving. But if I can't find them a home, of course they have a home here, but I'd love to give them a pasture to play in during the day. So that's that plan. Here is the chicken area, which is not, oh, look at this. So, funny story. See this chicken that probably can't see? I've cut her hair, but if I didn't have dogs in the house, she would be allowed in the house. But my problem is, in the beginning, she was being picked on all the time. And so I would carry her in here at night and put her on the roost. And now she won't come in. So at night, ignore the mess over there. I do need to clean. That's on today's agenda. But at night, I put food in all the feeders, and the chickens all hear me. Sorry, my camera died, so I had to stop filming for a bit, but got a new battery. So I was talking about this little lady over here. So I would bring her in every night and put her on the roost. And now when I put food in, as you can see, they know I'm in here, so they're all running in here. But when I put their food in and it's towards the end of the night, they know it's time to come in, and they all come running in, except her. She needs me to carry her in. So, but everyone else comes in. I'll try and film that one day. But it's really funny. I know when I have 16 of them, I'm good. Close up the door, and then I carry her in through the front door. I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to start encouraging her to go up the ramp herself. So this we showed in a past video, I think last week's video as well. The door did fall off. I tried to fix it. I was unsuccessful. And Ulysses said, let's just tie the post up, because we couldn't get it to stay in the concrete. We couldn't get the right anchors. I tried some other anchors. They didn't work. Then I tried new nails or screws that were cement screws or concrete screws. I don't know what you call them. And I couldn't drill deep enough. I just was hitting a block. So he's like, let's just tie it up with wire. And he did that. So that was great. But the chicken area hasn't changed, except that we have moved the ducks back out to the duck area. So the ducks are now out in their own spot. They'll spend a few weeks, if not a month or two, out here before we let them loose with the chickens. But it looks like we have 2 male babies and mama. So ultimately, I'll end up with a pair of ducks again. This area's been cleaned up. These are all banana trees. I don't see any flowers yet, but it might be early in the season still, so I should get some bananas. At the same time, some of these had been previously cut down and grown back. I think a lot of those were taken out recently. So, but this area looks good. You can see all the corn cobs on the floor. So after I cut the kernels off, I give them to the chickens. I have a bunch more Oh! Jesus! Okay, Rooster just attacked me. I don't know why. But that wasn't fun. That hurt a little. I don't know what he was doing, but he didn't want me going back there for some reason. He has never done that before. He used to be aggressive. I'm going to back out of here slowly. He used to be aggressive when he was a baby, and there were too many males, and he has not been aggressive since. I don't know what he was doing. But I'm going to try and walk back here again and make sure he doesn't attack me again. We'll keep an eye on him. Okay. Mulberry tree or bush. And I had more here that were just cut down, which is fine. They may come back. I think this is mulberry as well, although it looks very different. I'll have to look into that and check. And then I do have some soursop or guanabana trees. But they haven't been doing much. And if they are, they're being eaten by the birds. I think they're gone now, too. But anyway, I like this more open like this. Not great for the chickens, although they don't seem to have a lot of aerial predators. They can still go under the banana trees. They could still go under the shelter. This is my compost. But they're doing good. They are doing just fine. So Ulysses thinned all this. I'm not sure how or why he chose what he cut down, but I'm not concerned. These are all bananas, and I'm not sure I need that many bananas. So I'm hoping that means they'll grow better without all those bananas in there. This is my pepper plant. I knew when we moved the fence that the chickens were going to eat it, and they have. They have eaten every bit of it, pretty much, except for what they can't reach. Here's this lovely rooster. Don't come near me. But it's surviving. I don't need the peppers right now. So what I've been doing is picking off the ones that are ready and just throwing them out there. They don't complain. They love them. Well, they're going to fight over them. There's also a lot of corn in here still. They haven't really eaten off all the cobs. So, I usually break them, but since I have a camera in my hand, I'm just going to throw them whole and they can fight over them. Okay, so that's, I think, all the animals, except for some of the dogs, but you have seen them. And everyone's doing really well. As I mentioned, I'm going to try, I didn't mention this, but I am going to try and put a spring on this door so it closes. When it was broken, I messed up this latch. I kept it latched and used that as kind of a hinge. It didn't really work. So I am going to take the dogs on their afternoon walk. Like I said, they're stuck in this kennel all day. So they get walked 4 times a day. They get walked after breakfast, about 10 a.m., which is normally a good time because the sheep are in, but not always. And then we just try and go in a different direction. Same with the afternoon. They normally get walked around 2. I think it's only around 1, but since the sheep are in, it's a good time to walk them. And then at 6, after they've eaten dinner, they get their last walk. And the sheep are in, and now that the sheep shelter is much better protected and the dogs can't slide under or get too close, I take them out in this field over here and let them run around, only for about 5 or 10 minutes. They run like maniacs. They love it. And Punky is really good at not getting near me because she doesn't want me to grab her leash. Lulu hasn't quite figured that out yet. So usually I can grab Lulu's leash first and then entice Punky to come to me. But they do get to run around for about 10 minutes. We do about a 20-minute walk at night, depending on the weather. And during the day, it's about 15 to 20 minutes that we walk around the pastures. I will not be walking them once they have their own pasture. And like I said, theirs will be the first one that I do for 2 reasons. The sheep do go back here now. In the pasture that I want to put them in, the dogs in. And I will ultimately rotate the dogs as well as the sheep. But to start, we're going to put the dogs back here. But there's 2 reasons. One is I want to do this exterior fence first because that's where Pink got out. I don't know if I mentioned that in a video, but Pink did escape. I found her in the pasture across the way. And luckily, she has a collar. So I took a leash and went and caught her. Took me a while. It was muddy. The mud on the street was up to halfway up my calves. So it was really muddy. Got her back, not easily, because I didn't want to stress her out any more than necessary. So I didn't pull on her. I just kind of encouraged her to walk. Took us a while, and then we tried to walk along the edge to see if she could get back the way she got out. She couldn't find the spot where she got out. And then she found a spot in the yard to get in, and I let go of her leash because I didn't want her to get hurt trying to get in. And luckily, of course, sheep are herd animals, so she wanted to be with the rest of her herd. So she went running over to the gate and let me open the gate and let her back in and get the leash off of her. I mean, the leash. It was still on her. I just let go of it. It was not fun. I don't want to do that again. So we will finish. There's chain link up to about here somewhere. And so we will extend that here and then go around. And again, like I said, I think the dogs will do less damage to the plants, although the sheep don't seem to like the cacao trees. They do like citrus. And I'd like to eventually replace some of these citrus trees with lemon and lime trees. So we'll put the dogs in here first. Once I get more pastures done, I'll rotate. And at that point, I do not currently give the sheep alfalfa in the morning, only at night to get them in the shelter. But I will give them alfalfa in the morning to bring them to where I want them to be during the day, and then they'll go back to the shelter at night. They don't need the shelter during the day. They use it, but they don't need it. They, as long as they have some shade. And I think in every pasture there will be some shade. So they should be fine. I just have to make sure they also have water, not a problem. Ultimately, I think I'll get a large water trough and put in the middle there. So those two pastures are really one right now. Right there, this is the line that had the fence. We'll put a fence back up there, and I'm going to split it ultimately into 4 pastures eventually. And then I think I'll try and put a water trough in the middle of the 4, so all 4 pastures have access. So I should end up with 6 pastures, 4 there, this one, and the orchard possibly. 6 is perfect, because then I could move them every week or 2, and there would be a lot less parasite pressure. I can also use this area that I said would ultimately be for pigs as one pasture, the 2 areas that I'm going to separate, and give them a little more. That they wouldn't be in for a full week, but maybe a day or 2. So once I have all the pastures done, which will probably take me the next 2 years, just because of the cost of the fencing and whatnot, I'm going to do it slowly. But once I have it done, I will rotate the sheep, and because I'm rotating the sheep, I will rotate the dogs so that they move probably before the sheep, because they'll do very little damage to the grass, and they like to eat sheep manure. So I can't put them right after the sheep. I could put them a pasture apart, and that would probably work. But we'll figure that out as the time comes. Maybe I won't even completely finish that project. We'll see. Things are very fluid here. But now you've seen the whole farm, what we're doing. A lot we still have left to do. It's never ending, but that's okay. Next steps are definitely the fencing and the covered garden. And we'll get that done. I wasn't planning on doing the covered garden this year, but I have another 4 months left to the season, maybe 5 months left to the season. So if I could get it done soon, I will. And then I can grow some produce. And that's where we're at. If you like this video, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you want to follow along, and hit the bell so that you're notified when our next video comes out. We try and put out 1 a week, but we have been less consistent lately because there's just been so much going on. Please let us know what you think, what you'd like to see more of. We love to see comments. We don't get a lot of comments, but we'd love to see more comments. See you next week. Bye.